Welcome back to Douglas Politics. Archie, you know, when you're studying a situation and people get ready, and to all the members of the media, I am allowing you all and I'm begging you all the information that I'm giving you and the documentation is available for you to ask the pertinent questions. You do not have to tell Rowley, Smallpin, Newman George, Peter Clark, Eustace Nances, Christine Sahadio, or Riza Salim where you get the questions from. And they don't need no credit. I need the truth so that my people could vote with sense. My people can make a decision come election time. Archie, you know, remember there's a clip of Rowley where he's stuttering and so on. I looked at it again when my brother God Christopher played it. And do you know when you have more information and you go back and look at a clip of a man stumbling, stuttering and trying to get out of a situation and not even his pathological ability could help him, he was crumbling before your eyes? But there's a piece of information that came out there. I want to know if my Douglas Politics people, if all you're paying attention. I'm going to play this clip again. Listen to it carefully in light of what I bust last week Tuesday and see if there's a bit of information that shows you there is a connection, a vast, great connection, greater than what we even thought, between the February 27th shipment that started in Europe as Shell, came across the Atlantic at Trafigura PTE and went into Pointe-à-Pitre. Remember, it reached around Trinidad and Tobago. I gave you that. I told you where it stay, how it stay. Archie, play Rowley stammering and stuttering that all you want to vote for this. Look at it. Just look at this man. Go.
She came here on the meeting was postponed from Monday the 16th to the 27th of March. So she came on the 27th. And yes, there was a delegation, a small delegation that accompanied her. I think they were all men, most of whom were not introduced to us. The meeting took place at the diplomatic center, and on the Trinidad and Tobago side we had Minister Young, Minister Moses, myself, and actually there was no, she did not discuss before the details of what you were going to talk about, right? Present with her was, I'm now discovering, some person called Asdrubal Chavez, who I'm now discovering as part of the commission. He worked as part of a commission for PDVSA restructuring somewhere in his past. Nobody in that meeting was introduced to us as president of PDVSA. Nobody. And I can confirm now that at that meeting on that day there was no president of PDVSA there. I'm discovering that subsequent to that meeting, this individual had been promoted, right? Okay. But on the day, on the 27th of March or the 16th of March, when this meeting was expected, 27th of March, no person was introduced as representing the president of PDVSA, nor was there, to the best of our knowledge, the president of PDVSA. There was an individual who had a contact with PDVSA on the commission for PDVSA restructuring that I'm discovering that now. Question: half of the press conference was about an aircraft that was sanctioned by the United States. But let me just say this.
Now, I wonder if all you're good. I wonder if you're all good. Let me remind you of the new revelations that I gave you on Tuesday last week, and then on Power 102 on Wednesday, and then Thursday, Douglas Politics. A shipment of fuel left Augustus, Italia on February 27 while all of us was getting ready to drink rum, carnival, winding down, women looking good all across Trinidad and Tobago. It left with full stamp and full paperwork heading for a destination called Point-a-Pear, Trinidad. The consignee was Shell. Halfway through, it changed to Trafigura, who presented an invoice to Paria Fuel Trading Company. Okay? The Manolatis was the ship. The Manolatis entered Trinidad and Tobago's waters on the 16th of March. The 16th of March. It floated around outside Chaguaramas there from the 16th to the 21st. Did you all hear Keith Christopher Rowley there? When was the meeting with Delcy supposed to have been? The 16th of March. And he said it twice there. It didn't come out. And Stuart Young Smallpin said it before. Remember, he said he was taking care of us because Delcy wanted to come on the 16th. But she had possible COVID. So he delayed the meeting to the 27th. So the ship, Wilmer Ruperti ship, with fuel, reached Trinidad on the 16th. And Rowley say, back then, I didn't even pick it up until now with the new information, that the Delcy visit was scheduled for the 16th. Coincidence, my people? Coincidence? Keith Christopher Rowley in the Parliament, Friday, when Rudal Muninal brought a motion against the Speaker, Keith Christopher Rowley got up and said some of the most, it's on my Facebook, some things that you have to watch about 20 times to actually believe if he really said that, if he really mean it, or what is wrong with this human being. He said that Kamala and the UNC concocted this entire story that Paria had sold gas to Venezuela, aided and abetted by Reuters or something, he said, and that Paria had refuted beyond any doubt, had presented irrefutable evidence by way of press release that had cleared that up and had shown that Paria and the government had done no wrong. I can't make this up, you know. No matter how much I don't like that man, I can't lie on him. That's what the man said. You see all this paper in my hand? Well, let's stop eating popcorn. Pay attention now, right? Rowley said that the UNC members of the House created a story. So, Kamala brought Delcy Rodriguez and Astrobal Chavez. They came to see Kamala. Kamala closed the borders to all our citizens on the 22nd of March. Kamala opened the borders surreptitiously without announcement. Now, if this is a foreign policy and this is a visit of a state, the vice presidente de Venezuela, how come there wasn't a little red carpet? There wasn't a little 3 photographers to take a picture of Rowley greeting through elbow with Delcy on this state visit? How come it was that we had to make noise and so on for them to even admit Delcy reach? You thinking? But all you can't believe that Rowley will say this, eh? Archie played for them. Archie, you have it? Yeah. Played for
It's created a story in this country that a company owned by the people of Trinidad and Tobago violated American sanctions against Venezuela by our company selling fuel to Venezuela. That is the long and short of the allegation. It found its way into Reuters, got published in an American newspaper somewhere in the Midwest, and landed in the opposition in Trinidad and Tobago. And since then, they have been milking it like a cow. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it has been demonstrated beyond any repudiation that that allegation has no basis in fact. So if that is so, and I'm not here ruling for the Speaker or determining or defending the Speaker's ruling. The Speaker's ruling was properly made. But the fact that he's alluding to, and which you had to caution him today on numerous occasions, not to drift off into Paria, that allegation which the UNC is the originator of, they who gave birth to that lie, Mr. Speaker, it has been shown that Paria has not done so. By irrefutable evidence put out in the public domain, whole page ads in the newspapers, members of parliament on the government side responsible for Paria, we have demonstrated to the world.
This gentleman would like you all to vote for him and put him and Noel Garcia in charge again of spending all your money for another 5 years without procurement, without board, without tender committee, with him and Smallpin going to Australia and spending $1.768 billion on ferries, and Smallpin's brother just getting lucky and getting $3.625 billion of work. That's what they're saying. That man wants you to vote for him. Okay. Irrefutable evidence. You all have seen the ad that I told you they should not have printed. I destroyed that ad with 20 different points that shows that everything it is not factual. But let's go through the whole thing now. Let's see if this is a UNC concoction and that Rowley has brought evidence, irrefutable evidence that no such thing happened. No gas cell, no Venezuela, no link whatsoever, no Petrotrin, no Patriotic, no Condition 7 with Trafigura PTE. None of that happened. That is all in your mind and my mind, and he is honest like Mother Teresa. So Kamala make up that. So Kamala bring Delcy and Astrobal Chavez here. They came to see Kamala. Kamala closed the borders. Kamala opened the borders to let in Delcy and 5 PDVSA officials on a U.S. sanctioned jet. Kamala danced the conga line with Maduro. Kamala recognizes Maduro, right? Not Rowley. Kamala, who recognized Juan Guaido as the interim president looking for elections for the people of Venezuela. Rowley says Kamala. Okay. Kamala said that Trinidad and Tobago is not bound by the Rio Treaty, or was that Rowley? Kamala moved Rowley, best friend of 50 years, from chairman of HDC to chairman of Paria. Who moved Rowley, best friend of 50 years, from chairman of HDC to chairman of Paria? Kamala or Rowley? Kamala appointed Rowley, best friend, wife as speaker. Kamala appointed Bridget as speaker. Okay. Kamala told the speaker not to recuse herself and to adjudicate on a matter involving her beloved husband. Is Kamala tell her sit down there and adjudicate on the man she loved for so long? Kamala said meeting of Rowley and Delcy and Astrobal Chavez. She said the meeting with 4 other PDVSA officials was about COVID-19 first. Is Kamala say that? And then it changed to national security. Is Kamala say that? And then the meeting changed about refugees who are here in Trinidad, all of whom hate Delcy Rodriguez. And then it changed to no advance, no abuse topic. All right. Okay. Did Kamala make Rowley take umbrage against the USA ambassador's statement 2 years ago? Remember in the parliament? I take umbrage, Madam Speaker. Kamala made him say that? Kamala wrote a statement for the U.S. Ambassador Mondelo when he was correcting Smallpin. Because it's Kamala and okay. Kamala wrote the speech for the ministry for Miss Chung, the representative of the U.S. State Department, who in speaking with AmCham told them to be very careful and warned them against doing business with anybody associated with Venezuela. Did Kamala write the speech for Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, when he said Trinidad and Tobago needs to be very careful about who they associate with, and that anybody trying to attempt to assist Maduro in evading sanctions will feel the weight of U.S. authorities and the Treasury Department? Did Kamala write that speech for Mike Pompeo? Y'all want to vote for this man? Okay. I hope all you following it long. I hope you don't get bored. Because to show with irrefutable evidence that that man is a complete stranger to the truth. If you all didn't know it from Emailgate, from Renaissance, from his 4 years and 10 months as Prime Minister, from not closing down Petrotrin to every single word he has said about crooked Bridgman's come back down. If all you didn't know it, now you know it. Did Kamala use satellite to track the movement of the Aldan after the Aldan, the Liberian ship that left Pointe-à-Pierre, switched off its transponder one day after leaving here? Did Kamala instruct the U.S. Department of Justice and Attorney General Barr to bring down indictments on Maduro and 14 others of his cabinet? Did Kamala tell 16 of 19 signatories of the Rio Treaty to vote for sanctions against Maduro for trampling the Constitution of Venezuela? Did Kamala tell the U.S. to keep Smallpin and Johnny Sukaran far away from the largest drug bust in TNT history? Think about those two clowns. Smallpin, all you think about Smallpin in his bulletproof vest, walking with Gary, waving at the crowd and the crowd there waving at him. You remember anything for a picture? Think about tight pants Johnny Sukaran, who feel he's the sweetest thing since sliced bread. Anything for a picture. Johnny Sukaran. You mean they were involved in a $165 million US bust with the USA, and we see a picture of two of them, Smallpin and Sukaran? If they was involved there, we'd have seen them lying down on tons of cocaine. They would have been lying down on its foot cock up. One with bulletproof, one with tight jeans. All you see any picture? Or is it that the US tell them all you stay far from this? This had nothing to do with all you. Okay. Me ain't see no picture. If all you see the picture, send it for me. But my boys is photo takeouters. It's Kamala who tell Newman George to print a release in the papers on May 19th from Paria Fuel Trading Company? Is Kamala who do that? Is it Kamala who tell Paria to begin the story on March 27, Saturday, the day after Delcy leave and the PDVSA visit? Is Kamala who tell them print that for the population? The story really began on February 27th in Augustus, Italia, with the Manolatis, with 321,000 barrels of fuel. That's when the story really began. Kamala began the story there. What she work at Paris and make the order. She talked to Ruperti. The Manolatis arrived in Trinidad and Tobago waters on the 16th of March, 2020. This date is very important. You all just heard Rowley stumbling and starting. Well, the meeting was supposed to be on the 16th. The Manolatis arrived on the 16th. Coincidence that Delcy wanted to come the 16th to talk face-to-face to Rowley about COVID-19 on the 16th? You sure it was COVID-19 they wanted to talk about? Huh? Irrefutable evidence that Rowley don't lie, that they did no such thing. Okay. Here the rest that Rowley say Kamala create, right? Newman George. I'm talking to Newman George, Rowley brethren, Rowley soldier, Rowley partner 50 years. Could you explain how the Manolatis shipment for Shell transformed to Trafigura? You have to explain that, Newman George, because the original documents on February 27th, when the Manolatis was filled with 321,000 barrels of fuel, said its port of destination is Pointe-à-Pierre. Nobody in Italy, nobody out there could put and authorize Pointe-à-Pierre as a point of destination without the approval of Paria Fuel Trading Company. How Pointe-à-Pierre reach on that document, Newman George? You want to print more ad? How was the original document stamped in Italy by European officials stamped Pointe-à-Pierre? Please show the purchase by Paria on or before February 27th. All you understand now? How Pointe-à-Pitre just jump in that? So fuel loaded quite across in Europe. And just by flukes, they play any, mini, miny, more and say, "Oi, Pointe-à-Pitre." Interesting, eh? Paria, who approached you to purchase fuel from Trafigura PTE? Because in your first line of your ad, you said on the 27th after Delcy left, somebody approached Paria. Who approached? How they approach? They approach on WhatsApp, they approach on Face, they approach on Facebook, they approach by TT Post. How they made the approach? And how they made the approach? And then to buy 200,000 barrels for 7.974 million US. Was this paid, Paria? Media people, record this. Was that paid? The Trafigura PTE invoice is dated April 6th. It gave Paria 30 days to pay. 30 days would have been approximately May the 4th, May the 5th. Paria, did you pay 7.94 million US dollars to Wilmer Ruperti and Trafigura PTE of taxpayers' money? Yes or no? If so, show, because it's irrefutable evidence, and okay. To whom was it paid and from which bank account? And banks, be very careful, eh? You don't want Uncle Sam in all your business because you all will bust, eh? When they put sanction on a bank, please don't even play. Eh? How did Paria learn of this available gas? Who from ES Euro Shipping approached Paria to purchase fuel? Does Paria normally sell and listen to this, all y'all businessmen who listening, please. Y'all are the intelligence here. Y'all are the intellectual capital of the country. Please help me, because I are dunce. How did ES Euro Shipping, trading company from Geneva with 6 employees and 750,000 annual revenue, how did they qualify to make a spot buy of 5.6 million US? In any of your businesses, would you do that? Courts, Standard, American stores. If a man making $3,000 a month, he could buy a TV from you for $40,000. He could qualify for that TV, or he had to buy a little TV for a little smaller price. After, if he had $3,000, he had to pay rent, he had to buy food and so on. So he might have a little $200 disposable. What he qualified for? A big 80-inch flat screen, curve screen TV for 80,000 or 100,000? I don't think so. So how was it qualified and approved by Paria for a one-off sale of 5.6 million US? Newman George, irrefutable boy, answer now. Did ES Euro Shipping pay that 5.634 million US dollars by wire transfer from Deutsche Bank to RBC on the 15th as the newspaper press release that Rowley is boasting about? That's irrefutable evidence. Okay. Well, RBC, Paria account, please show the media the deposit of 5.634 million US transfer on the 15th of April from Deutsche Bank ES Euro trading account. That's irrefutable. If you show me that, I say, what? You only have to show me 40 more things now and it will become irrefutable. What invoice was used for payment on that 15th? What invoice? Because if you all remember, the Paria invoice was dated 12 days after that. So how they pay on an invoice that did not exist? And you all want to vote for that human being? That position of Prime Minister is the highest, most powerful position in the country. That man is the least qualified human being to ever be considered. Out of 1.41 million people, he is about 1.412 in line for that position. Why does the invoice have First Citizens Bank Paria account? when Newman George printed in the press irrefutably that the money went into RBC, Paria's account at RBC. So if the invoice of First Citizens Bank, Queens Park, Savannah, with the number and the account and so on, how ES Trade, how Ruperti and them know that Paria even have a RBC account? You're taking my time, you know, because I want all you, including all your PNM, all your shame. Really and truly. All you in shame, that man is a total disgrace, and he pumping small pin on top of all you to walk all over all you. I shame for all you. And I don't like no PNM. If the contract was totally, fully, wholly, and completely satisfied on April 15th as stated by the newspaper press release that Rowley is boasting about, how was the sanction clause inserted on April 23rd, 8 days after? So you have a completed contract, executed, done. You going to amend it? What's the point? What's illegality? What does not exist? The contract consideration was paid, if they say, on the 15th. So you change a contract on the 23rd. Is sanction clause a standard clause for all you bright people in the oil industry? Isn't it a standard clause? So why was it left out? If, as Rowley, Franklin, Can and Smallpin say, once Paria sell, we do not care where the gas reach. Once we sell, we done. Then why, after the sale was made on April 15th, did they attempt to put in a sanction clause as stated by Smallpin? All you follow me? Franklin, Can, Rowley, all of them say, well, once we sell, we are not responsible for where it end up. Well, on the 15th, payment was made. The ship left on the 21st. You don't care no more from the 21st. So why by Asha Javid report about this clause after hugging up Smallpin home by them? That nobody see the clause. Why would you care to insert a clause? Because it's gone already. And according to you, Franklin Can, and you, Rowley, and you, Stuart Young, once we sell it here, we don't care where it goes. It's not our responsibility. Oh, Lord. Rowley, fuel was sold to Aruba. Aruba said we didn't want no fuel, we didn't buy no fuel, we didn't ask for no fuel, and we didn't pay for no fuel. But you still claiming in Parliament that you sold, Paria and your friend Newman George sold fuel to Aruba. So you calling the whole of Netherlands, the whole Aruba, all them is liar except you. Use Mother Teresa, Rowley. Therefore, if innocent, would it put a prime minister be very, very interested? Okay, let's pretend Rowley was innocent now and know nothing. Okay, let's pretend the LC really came to talk COVID, and then it went to national security, and then it went to refugee, and he didn't know Astroval. He didn't Astroval. I'm now discovering Astroval. Some fella Chavez Astroval. Then the LC was coming the 16th, and we changed it to 20th. Let me pretend Rowley don't lie. Let me pretend for a moment. Bear with me. Wouldn't you be very upset that somebody had hoodwinked you, that somebody had tricked you, that someone had tricked your company in an energy deal and put your entire country at risk? Wouldn't you be angry? Wouldn't you want to bring down those perpetrators on fraud? Wouldn't you be making meetings with the FBI, the CIA, the State Department? Wouldn't you put Double G and your Attorney General on the case of ES Euro trading and Wilmer Ruperti and anybody who was involved in hoodwinking you and tricking you and taking your gas and surreptitiously putting it in Venezuela and offloading it at El Palito? Wouldn't you be angry? And we know how Rowley looks when he's angry. When there's procurement and projects that are being thwarted, he gets angry like a raging bull. Wouldn't the PM want to return all questionable money? Get that out of our system? Tell the USA, fire burn that. Them trickery, Those fraudsters, we not at that, you know, Yankee. We love all your Uncle Sam forever. July 4th, we gonna need steak and bust fireworks, man. Wouldn't you do that? But you're not doing that. You're not angry. Why? In fact, you get vexed with them. You get vexed with the Yankee them. Wouldn't the Prime Minister report to country and U.S. Ambassador his frustration and angst and so on, that and reaffirm his commitment and the war against drug traffickers, narco-terrorists and money launderers? Wouldn't he say that and shout that to the mountaintops? Fire burn Maduro. We not support no narco-terrorists, no money launderer. I'm sorry for dancing the conga line for him. I'm sorry for attacking the US and saying take umbrage. I'm sorry for telling Mondelo he fast and out of place. I'm sorry for telling Trump what the hell you could do we. I'm sorry for saying we don't have to live up to the Rio Treaty. I'm sorry. No. Going up fighting, boy. Why you fighting, people? Why you fighting so hard? What Rowley love? Procurement. Procurement, man. He's the best procurement man that you and the media, the Fourth Estate, have allowed him for 4 years and 10 months to procure with his friends and say Kamala and them thief. But Kamala put one chairman for one board. Rowley put all his friends in charge of all your money, and that's good. Keep it in a tight circle. It's good for corporate governance. It's great for transparency. It's fantastic for accountability and procurement process. The shorter you can make, he make the process so short that ministers buying things. I know minister can't buy nothing. That's why I just talk so confident, because minister can't buy not a pen, not a rubber band, nothing. Under normal system, but under Rowley system, minister buy Galleon's Passage, minister buy Incat and Hostel Ferry, minister buy 2 Cutlass ferries, ministers doing all kind of thing. Minister renting building to themselves, Forest and rental, all kind of thing, and you all saying, let's go red and ready, boy, come on. I'm not done there, no. I'm taking a little break, and I'm coming back. We coming right back.
We are in Grand River, the hometown of our candidate for Toko Sandy Grande, Miss Nabila Green. And the reception here is fantastic. All of her family, her relatives, the entire village, they are out supporting. And I am confident that Nabila Green will bring victory to Toko Sandy Grande.
My darling friends, I'm gonna walk about.
You never said nothing.
I know. Say no more.
Support.
I know that.
You never said nothing. You don't know. You're going here, you have our full support.
Right.
Hello Trinidad and Tobago. I am Peter Kanhai, Chairman of the United National Congress. I am in the constituency of Toko Sandy Grande today with our candidate, Ms. Nabila Green, for this constituency. And right at this moment, we are actually in Grand River, Nabila's hometown, where she was born, bred, and grew up. And we are here campaigning with her to make sure that Nabila Green becomes the next Member of Parliament for Toko Sandy Grande, as well as to ensure that the United National Congress returns to government and Kamala Persad-Bissessar returns as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, I am Nabila Green, your candidate for Toko Sandy Grande. Presently, I'm in my hometown, Grand River, with my UNC family, accompanied by biological family. We are on the ground, we are working hard, we are going from house to house, reminding of my villagers rather of how important it is to come out and vote for election day for the representation that we desperately need.
Now is the time for proper representation. Now is the time to make sure and be registered. Now is the time where 50,000 jobs will be available if you come out and vote. Now is also the time for secondary school children to have access to laptops. Now is the time. Now is time to vote for Nabila Green.
Welcome back to Douglas Politics. I'm sorry for going long, but I am showing y'all. This gentleman got up in the Senate, in the Parliament again. Remember, before he became Prime Minister, he rode in on the email gate lies, the greatest lies to ever be told in a Parliament in the history of the Commonwealth and Westminster system. But yet people still believe him and voted for him. And now, He treats the parliament as anything, and he will say that other people lie, you know. But Keith Christopher Rowley said that is irrefutable proof that this whole fuel gate, fuel to Venezuela, Wilmer Ruperti, ES Trading, Paria, gas, Trafigura, Petrotrin refinery with Ansel Roger, condition number 7 that they must sign a MOU with Trafigura. There's no truth to it, that the US investigation is a waste of time, that all of this is nonsense concocted and created by Kamala, that Delcy came here just to talk COVID. It had no problem. He didn't know who was Astrubal Chavez. He didn't talk no oil, no gas, no nothing. He talked refugees. He talked national security. He did not tell the country that a vice president of a country was coming. They didn't have no special meeting. He didn't send Smallpin by the airport to do a elbow bounce, nothing. But it's coming to tell you that his friend, Newman George, whose wife is the speaker, who sits there and tells you that it was okay for her to even consider a matter of which her beloved husband is in, and we must just take that. And all you're taking that and actually saying, I'm going to dip my finger for that. Think about that for a moment. They have the deputy speaker, you know. It ain't even no big thing. And the speaker could have tell the deputy speaker behind the chair in the office, hey, don't rule against my husband. All right. Them don't even want to pretend. They don't even want to pretend that them respect rules of propriety, transparency, Westminster system, conflict of interest, the apparent bias. They may even want to pretend that. We continue in it. There's still a lot to go. I'm sorry. But when I tell you that man is a total clown, I don't say it in no joke. I'm ashamed that he holding that office. He's not qualified in any form or fashion. 1.4 million, even the children could do a better work than he. Did Kamala lay a document in the parliament, in the Senate, in response to Wade Mark's motion on Fuelgate? Did Kamala bring documents when Wade Mark asked and put a motion about this Fuelgate? Did Kamala lay documents, or did the PNM lay documents in Parliament, in the Senate? This document that was laid by Rowley's government, it's dated Sunday, 14 June. People, are y'all listening to what I am telling y'all? I hear some PNM balling and they'll have fake document. No. No. Fake what? The first documents I have are the documents laid by Rowley and his government in the parliament. So Rowley lay fake documents? Well, he did actually, but Rowley laid them, not Anil. And what Rowley put in the parliament, in the public domain, a customs and excise form, a form that is so critical that a ship cannot leave port without that form filled out and without 3 bills of lading. Look, I'm here, no shipman, but I have to go and study and research and ask, so I know now. But that document laid by Keith Rowley and his government is dated Sunday, 14th June. The ship left Pointe-à-Pierre on April 21st. That customs and excise document, which involves taxes and so on, was 6 weeks after the ship done gone. Ship done reach El Palito and offload and gone about its business back to Liberia. That's normal. All you customs agents, all you immigration, all you government workers, all you permanent secretaries, are you all serious? And on a Sunday, with no ship here, the ship gone in the blue ocean, that was laid by Rowley. And y'all don't find that disgraceful? You don't find that corrupt? You don't find that warrants investigation? Media, Newsday, Judy Raymond, that's not a story. What do you want to print now? Bars closed for 2 more hours? This document was done 54 days after the Aldan left Trinidad and Tobago. 54 days. And it was done on the Sunday before the motion on the Monday. And Rowley says irrefutable evidence that he's telling the truth. And Paria did no such thing. And he didn't involve Paria. And Smallpin was not involved. And they didn't know that Mano PDVSA. And they don't know about Trafigura. And they didn't know EUS is Wilmer Ruperti. And they didn't know that Maduro. And they didn't conquer along with Maduro. And they don't support Maduro. And they don't love Maduro. And they don't fight down Mandela. If a ship was for St. Eustatius, do you remember that? They said, and Rowley said on about 5 occasions. Newman George said about 4 occasions. Smallpin even said it on 3 occasions. That the original consignee, well, they didn't say the consignee, but the destination port was St. Eustatius. Well, if it was St. Eustatius, how come the customs documents which are to be done while the ship, before it leaves, before the captain go, pop, pop, and press to pull out, those documents must be signed, stamped, sealed, finished, no joke. At that time, when the ship was leaving on April 21st, the destination was St. Eustatius, remember? And then in the Paria press release that I told you all, and I told them they should not have done that when they know they're lying. Remember, they said that somebody tell them who was doing some work on the ship that it might be going Venezuela. But they found out that it might be going Venezuela, and on the 23rd of April, 2 days after the ship left, they put in that clause, and ES Trading, Euro Trading, agreed to the sanction clause. Remember the Asha Javid article and Smallpin saying that with his hand? Remember this? Convent girl? Yes. Here the problem. If on the 21st, according to their story, the ship was going St. Eustatius, shouldn't the customs documents laid by Rowley in the parliament this year, shouldn't this have St. Eustatius on it? How come it has Aruba? Because it was done after, 54 days after, when the story had to be changed. So this was done with the changed story. But the problem is the ship left before the story changed. And you all want to vote for that? Customs document? And whatever customs person signed this, God bless you, good luck to you. Well, me I know you might be lucky because like the police don't like to investigate PNM, so me I know. But that's something very serious. Serious charge. Customs and excise fraud. Rowley, I find you not upset with your best friend who you trust. You understand? If I have a friend and I say, well, you in charge of something, I believe in you. How come you're not vexed with your friend, Rowley? Because you're embarrassing your government if he's so incompetent. Because it's not you. If he's not operating on your instruction. If he was not in the palace with Delcy and the 5 other PDVSA officials down the hall while you was meeting with Asdrubal, some guy, I'm now discovering Asdrubal Chavez. While you was doing that, if he wasn't meeting with the others, and if all of them went back home, and it was COVID, they was talking about sneezing, social distancing, and face mask. Why you not vexed with your friend? Why you not vexed with your friend that he was so dotish to buy fuel from a company with a long history alongside Wilmer Ruperti, Chavez, and Maduro? Why you not angry at your friend for putting your country and yourself at risk? Because you at risk of sanction, you know, boss. Now, the whole country at risk now with the Petrotrin refinery patriotic thing with condition number 7. Media, could you all go and ask them, please? Ask Coleman, but why Trafigura PTE? Who brought Trafigura PTE? Who is Trafigura PTE? And why is that condition in there for the sale of of the refinery to Rocher and Patriotic. And then go to Rocher, Mr. Big Mouth, Mr. Attack Kamla, Mr. Nastiness, Mr. Stand Up Kinda Ben. And Rocher, why number 7? Who brought Traffic Guru PTE? Traffic Guru PTE, Wilmer Ruperti, 13 years in Venezuela, not a very good track record. Traffic Guru PTE builds Paria for fuel, but it's not going Venezuela. Wilmer Ruperti, Venezuela, it's not going Venezuela. ES Trading, Euro Trading, Wilmer Ruperti company, he buy gas and sell it to himself, but it's not going Venezuela. No. No, cabrón, no. Okay. So you didn't know. So you were vexed with your friend. He said that Wilmer Ruperti has a 17-year history of allegiance and support and blind loyalty to Chavez and Maduro. And he's a close affiliation of PDVSA. In fact, when PDVSA was shut down by Chavez and 19,000 employees in the breadline, it was Wilmer Ruperti, like it's only Wilmer, Winifred Espine here and Wilmer Ruperti there, who get to rehire all the people at the new company. So in PDVSA 2002, 19,000 PDVSA employees Venezuela bust throat. Chavez say, Wilmer Ruperti hire back people. And Wilmer Ruperti hire back his people and put them in place. In 2017 or whenever, Rowley bust all of Petrotrin throat. 5,389 permanent workers and 6,117 temporary workers bust throat. And say, Winifred Espine and Ajoda Singh, you hire back Paria, Heritage, wherever. You all do it by yourself. Or they're not seeing the similarities. Just coincidence. Douglas just making this up, because it was irrefutable evidence presented on May 19 on that Paria advertisement. You have vexed, Rowley. You have vexed that your partner embarrassed you. He embarrassed you, your country, your government, your PNM party. You have vexed. Why you have vexed, Rowley? It's story I don't know. Rowley says Kamla and the UNC make the story. The story now gets more serious and it's more important to you. Share the life. Because I'm dealing with small pin soon after. We go in a while, but I want to get through every piece of fact. Because irrefutable, that man say. I probably have about 50 questions there that not refuted yet. I have about 30 more. So bear with me. Because when I call the man a liar, I put in evidence. You understand? That's why Anil can't get no pre-action, because truth don't have no pre-action. And they could take the pre-action and wipe where the sun don't shine with it. That man is the worst human being in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and all you want to vote for he? Okay, let's see. Did Kamla tell Rowley to be friends with the boss of AV Oil? Did Kamla choose Dioki Singh as a candidate for the PNM in the last election in 2015 to go up against herself? Is Kamla choose Dioki Singh in Separia for the Red and Ready team? And only Red and Hungry now? Kamla put AV Oil daughter in the Senate as a PNM senator? Kamla Poinchi? Kamla tell Rowley as head of Petrotrin and head of the National Security Council to call the brethren when allegations about fake oil came up? Kamla say, Rowley, call your friend quick. Or Rowley tell all earlier, yeah, I called my friend. And you'll find that was okay. He's the man in charge of the company who is making the allegations. But he called the alleged perpetrator. He's the head of the National Security Council and he called an alleged perpetrator. And you'll say, yes, Rowley, boy, can we vote for you again? Did Kamla tell Rowley to shut down Petrotrin? Did Kamla tell Winifred Espine to tell the truth under oath in the industrial court that, and I quote, Winifred Espine under oath swear on the Bible, Winifred Espine, the Petrotrin board did not advise, nor did the Petrotrin board decide to shut down Petrotrin. Remember Rowley said, is the board, is the board, is the board, is the board? Espine say fire burn you, Rowley. The board did not say that. So if it's not the board, it's Rowley and the cabinet. That's the only people up above them. And Rowley's still doing an interview with Kamal PNM Georges. And Kamal, yes. Rowley said, no, that can't be true. Winfred Eswini didn't say that. Go on the record of the industrial court under oath. He said it. And how come Rowley closed down Petrotrin when you spent $64 million on reports that told you don't shut it down? The Lashley report, the McKinsey report. You spent $64 million on expert advice and ignore it? That alone you should resign for being a complete dunce. Did Kamala tell Rowley to appoint his personal lawyer, confidant, and friend as the head of the new Petrotrin without one-day experience in energy matters? Did Kamala tell Rowley to appoint his personal lawyer, Kwamena, in charge of the new entity when an investigation supposed to be going on into fake oil? A man put his lawyer there. A man with no experience in energy whatsoever. And you all say that other people thief and all kind of thing? Did Kamala tell Rowley to fight down the dragon gas deal in spite of global pressure on Maduro to stop being a dictator and to respect the constitution of Venezuela? Or did Rowley do that on his own, dancing the conga line in dragon style with him and an indicted narco-terrorist? Did Kamala tell Roger to attack, disrespect, and vilify Kamala and praise Rowley? Is Kamala say, Roger, attack me? Is Kamala tell Rowley to insert condition number 7 on patriotic to consummate the sale of the refinery? Kamala do that? And clause number 7 states, must conclude MOU with Trafigura PTE. Members of the media, could you ask Roger if that condition number 7 has been met? And if an MOU has been signed with Trafigura PTE regarding the purchase of Trinidad and Tobago's asset, the refinery at Petrotrin? Please ask. And if you ask them, what does it involve? Yes, he'll tell you it's a secret. Well, good for all you. Is Kamala caused the total forex crunch on the population now when Tanti telling me she needs $1,600 to send for her child and she going in the bank and could only get 50 per day? And was telling me she willing to pay $25,000. I said, Tanti, look, stop that, eh? I tell her, listen, if they're giving you $50 US per day and you need $1,600, unfortunately, go 32 days and take your $50. It's Kamala who do that? All of y'all who credit cards, limit down. So Rowley, you still believe at this juncture that Fuelgate has been totally and completely refuted beyond repudiation? You really believe that, Rowley? Or you believe that anybody except you believe that? Even my PNM people listening now and going, oh Lord have mercy, where we find this bald-head Oreo stranger to the truth from? Now, I want you all now. After that, I'm sorry for going long, but when you're in a serious issue, you have to bring up every single point. I think that even the most biased listener, viewer could say, Rowley, let me say some prayers for you. Some prayers of forgiveness and blessing, that somehow wherever you lost the script, wherever your conscience has gone, that somehow after you get the licking from Kamala and the UNC, that somehow in your later years, that somehow your conscience come back to you, at least in a rocking chair, boy, or Golden Grove, or whichever one come first. But now, having heard that, and again, I apologize for going long, but I think it was important to give you fact by fact, bit by bit. Now I need you all with your new eyes now. You have now seen Rowley. In fact, actually play back that clip with Rowley in the parliament again one more time for me. So after I've gone through that about half an hour, 35 minutes, to show you all how many inconsistencies, how many lies, how many links there are to Maduro, Venezuela, PDVSA, Trafigura PTE, Wilmer Ruperti, EOS Trading, Paria, Delcy, PDVSA, Astroval Chavez, Rowley, Smallpen. This is what Rowley said, you know.
But to that lie, Mr. Speaker, it has been shown that Paria has not done so. by irrefutable evidence put out in the public domain, whole page ads in the newspapers, members of parliament on the government side responsible for Paria. We have demonstrated to the world, not that we are afraid of anybody, but that the fact is that Paria did not trade with Venezuela on that transaction. Paria's fuel documents went to Aruba, and those were properly made, Mr. Speaker. And they could say what they want. Those are the facts. And with all the help up, down, and across, as we speak today, Mr. Deputy Speaker, nobody has been able to demonstrate an iota of evidence to show that what Paria has said in its defense is not true. So if it is not true, if the foundation of the lie is not true, how could the arboreal top of it be true? It reached quite by the Speaker now. Reached by the Speaker. No fuel was sold by Paria. But what you must debate is the Speaker's husband, as chairman of Paria, is supposed to be guilty of something. The Speaker must see and accept that from the member for Orapooch and recuse herself from the chair. That is the summary of why we are here today.
How can you